Hello, this is from Lucybridge Academy. I'm Mr. Girma, English teacher. So as I promised for you to meet with next another topic, I come here today. And then don't forget to subscribe and join our channel. I'm very confident that we'll give you the key that helps you to unlock the door to successes. I'm very confident, and then follow me, especially for those who are preparing yourself for national exam. You'll be much more advantageous, and then do this one. Then today we see comparisons. When we say comparison, you started learning this one in lower grade, but today we see some exceptionals. That means, okay, different from what you learned. The domain rule, what you have learned previously about superlative, comparative, and like that, that is the best. And then I hope you do have awareness or else knowledge about that. But I need to give you additional point, which is not very common when we discussed about this comparison. So in comparison, that means we do have this word. So most of the time, words like much, a lot, far, a bit, a little, slightly, just comparative comes after this. That means, okay, for instance, here, example I can give you. Let's go by car. It is much cheaper. Much is one of the words. And then after some of words, when we write, that means after some of words like this, already I gave you, comparative comes after them. There are some words like this that comes before the comparative. That means don't go by train. It is a lot more expensive. Have you seen a lot more expensive? Could you speak a bit more? A bit. This bag is slightly heavier. Have you seen this one is comparative? Yes? And then you have to be familiar with this. When you make a sentence with the help of this one, don't forget that comparative comes after them. This is what you have to remember. And then the example, very pretty, can make for you clear how we use this word. And as you remember that, means even when you, not only for the exam, even when you make your own sentence to address a certain issue, you can use this pattern. And again, as you be familiar with the meaning, I told you again and again, mastering the rule or the pattern doesn't put you in a guarantee position. So you are expected, after you master the rule, you are expected to know, to perceive what does it mean. The big thing with the meaning is you are expected to be familiar with the meaning, with the pattern that you become familiar with. This is what I advise you usually. If you master and stop there, that means, okay, you face difficulty. Because English, most of the time, it is not, sometimes it is not governed with the rules. So you may be given a domain rule. So that means when you read much more, you will get maybe another pattern that disqualifies or else that falsify maybe the domain rules. That is what I call usually exceptional. That doesn't follow the domain rule. Therefore, that's why I want to make you familiar. The other one is with any and no. Again, any and no are followed by comparative. We say any longer, no bigger. Example here, I have waited long enough. I'm not waiting you any longer. I'm not waiting you any longer. Have you seen? This hotel is better than the other one, and it is no more expensive. No more. That is, after no, we use. So be familiar with this one. The other one is, we do have different types of this comparative. One is parallel comparative. The other one is double comparative. This is what you have to remember. For instance here, parallel comparative. Look here, study this example. The sooner the better. What sort of box do you want? A big one. Yes, the bigger the better. We also use the other, for instance, the warmer the weather. When something depends on the other, we can use the parallel comparative. The warmer the weather, the better I feel. The younger you are, the easier to learn. The sooner you leave, the earlier. That means, okay, have you seen? This, the younger, the easier, the warmer, the better. In exam, don't be confused. That means, okay, you may be given, they may say the warmest, the better, or the best. There is no, if we say parallel comparative, it is comparative, not superlative that you use. Don't forget that one. And then here, it is missed, maybe what we call this double comparative, but let me tell you something about this double comparative, because that is again very important for you, yes? So when we say double comparative, yes, double comparative, the other point is this one, double comparative, that is more and more. Have you seen? More and more. Harder and harder. And harder. Don't forget this one. It's comparative, double comparative. Double comparative. But in exam, sometimes you may be given like this, more and most. More and most. But there is no this type of pattern. Remember, double comparative, the name itself tells us is before and after and we must use comparative. This is what you have to remember. For instance, this time it becomes more and more, or we can say harder to make it very meaningful. We better say it becomes harder and harder to find a job. Have you seen? We say harder and harder. Her English is getting better and better. Have you seen? So we use this pattern, all right, for you. We use this double comparative when we intend to state that something is changing continuously. That means, okay, something is changing continuously. That means, okay, we use, let me write for you, we use double comparative when we intend to state something is changing something is changing continuously. Don't forget this one. Unfortunately, it is missed, this. And then we say, this time it becomes harder and harder to find a job. Have you seen? Or her English is getting better. Bear and bear. That means, okay, we can say, have you seen? Double comparative. But we use this one. The important point is the intention. When do we use this pattern, this double comparative? We use double comparative when we intend when we intend to state, something is changing continuously. Don't forget this one. It's here, bear, and bear. That means, okay, therefore, don't forget, unfortunately, in the note, this is missed, and then you can take, this can make for you very clear. This is what I need to tell you, yes? So, here, another common error in writing comparisons. That is, okay, for instance, let me make for you clear. Let me make clear for you. For instance, look, if we say Chala is taller, if we say taller than any student in the classroom, if we say like this is wrong, because we are comparing Chala with himself because he's a member of that classroom. If we write like this, it seems that we are indirectly comparing, that means Chala with himself. Therefore, if it is written like this, that is wrong. Then we have to correct like this. Chala is taller than any other student in the classroom. In the classroom. This is what you have to remember. Most of the time, people make a mistake here. And then if we write like this, we are indirectly comparing Chala with himself, which doesn't give sense. Therefore, we can correct by adding other. That is what I want to show you here. And then here, you can see that, miss, okay? Another common error in writing comparison is to compare something with itself. Remember this one. When comparing one of a group with the rest of the group, make sure that your sentence contains the word other or else. This must be present to separate him from the group. Otherwise, you are comparing that person with himself because he's a member of that group. So adding other or else in such sentence helps the comparison clear. For instance, if we say the captain scored more touchdowns than anyone. If we say anyone on the team, this is wrong. Have you seen? So we can correct it like this. The captain scored more touchdowns than anyone else. Have you seen? Anyone else. Else must be present on the team. If we make like this, that is right. And again here, you can see George types faster than any student in the class. Again, we are comparing George with himself. He is a member of the class. Then to separate him from the member of the class in comparing, we use what? Any other student in the classroom. Don't forget about the usage of any and what we call, okay, other and else when you are writing comparison. Please remember, this is very key point, and most of the time people make a mistake because when this one is present, that means, okay, even to identify whether superlative or else comparative is appropriate. And most of the time, don't forget, any one else and any other go with what? Comparative. So, based on this, you do have, I brought for you some questions that were taken directly from this national exam. I'm happy I found a computer for dash a price than. Here, if there is than, automatically we use what? That means, okay, comparative. More expensive, this is comparative, okay, it is possible, but it doesn't go. It doesn't go with this intention. That is why I told you previously, mastering the rule or the pattern doesn't put you in a guarantee position. So you have to come after you be familiar with the pattern, then you have to analyze, you have to comprehend its meaning, its sound, that means, okay, what does it mean? You have to remember this one. Therefore, if we say more expensive, it doesn't go because the person is happy. Any person, okay, doesn't feel happy when he buys something with costly, that means, okay. Therefore, more expensive, this does, even if it is comparative, it is appropriate, doesn't go with this one. Therefore, here we say what? Much cheaper. Have you seen? Because I am happy, I found a computer for much cheaper a price than you mentioned. Yes? And then you can see, you can analyze like this. Yes? Another question. I haven't seen it, but I could imagine the Renaissance dam dash other dams we have in the country. Now, other dams, when we do have other, previously I gave you else and other. When we do have that one, even if it seems that we are comparing one dam with the other, that means, okay, the mind of the student directly run to use what we call this superlative. But when we do have other, the rest of anyone else, already I gave you, so use that pattern. And then here, that means, okay, we use what we call this comparative. But all of them are comparative. But which word go with comparative? Already previously at the beginning, I gave you word this or else phrases like a bit, slightly, much, a lot, are followed by what? Comparative. Therefore, that's why C here is the answer. This is what you have to remember. Previously, the answer is what? For this one, that means, okay, much cheaper. Another question, that is, the more peat there is in the country, dash it is for the people. This is what? Well, if you remember, the more, and this is parallel comparative. So go with the intention, the meaning now, yes, the meaning. That's why again and again that I advise you as you comprehend what does it mean. When a sentence is constructed with the pattern or else a rule that you be familiar with, yes? Don't forget this one. Yes? The more peat there is in the country, dash it is for the people. The more it is for the people doesn't give sense. The better, yes? Because good, the better it is. So that's why the answer here, you are better see, you are best see a doctor about your chest pain. I think it is getting dash and dash. It is getting what? That means we use double comparative when we state that something is changing continuously. This is what I told you. So having that one, when you see here more and worse, that doesn't give sense. Worst and worse and worst, I told you. This is directly taken from national exam. Therefore, I told you that double comparative. This one is not comparative. So before and after and, to say double comparative, the word must be comparative. More and more worse, we don't say. Therefore, the answer here is, that is worse and worse. And then it gives sound again. Yes? This is what you have to remember. I found this question a bit dull, the rest of the question in this booklet. For instance, when you take in national exam in the past, English national exam holders 120 question, but recently they minimize and bring it to 100. Anyway, that means I found this question, it seems that we are comparing one from the rest, but when we do have a word like a beat, or else the word like the rest again, okay, it helps us, then immediately it is followed by what? Comparative, that means, okay, this is what we have seen. Therefore, the answer for this one is either that. So by finding different types of this exercise, that about this double comparative, parallel comparative, by practicing, by reading, you can be well armed about this comparison. This is what I advise you. So for today, we stop here. Already we are finished about this comparison. This is very key point. Student, don't forget that. Read it again and again. So if there is any doubts, any point that is not clear for you, you can jot down that, miss, okay, under the comment. And then this is from Lucybridge Academy, English teaching. So if you do have maybe items that you challenge you again and again, I advise you write to us. I can make for you much more clear and simple. This is what I need to tell you. For today, we stop here.